Hi, this is Mojo with GT, and I'm your host Ganesh Dosti. Yes, we are going to be talking about the voice of Ashwin Tyagarajan. The voice of Ashwin Tyagarajan, and we have Ashwin today in our studio, and we are going to have some interesting mojos today. And to get started, Ashwin is a Chennai-based fashion designer who set a amazing tone for himself. He's set a trademark, and he's also been a great inspiration for a lot of designers in the industry. And he's one among the top now. And I always like his style as a photographer. When I started working with him, there was a comfort zone to work with him. And one more thing, I see a designer grow the way he thinks, the way his thought process is. And every time I've worked with him, I've always had a wonderful output, a beautiful output which I got. And that is how me and Ashwin Tyagarajan know each other. And it's been almost 4-5 years we know each other. We've not had great conversations before because I don't know. We've always spoke about work, and that's how it was. But today in my studio, I'm going to be opening up with a couple of questions which I have for Ashwin, which I thought I should be asking to him and know better about him. Over to Ashwin. Ashwin.
Hi, Ganesh.
Hi, Ashwin.
Okay, so I'm Ashwin Tyagarajan. I'm a fashion designer. I was born and raised in Chennai, and my store is in Adyar, Shastri Nagar. I've been in the fashion industry from about 2014, and it's been pretty nice. I've worked with a lot of talented individuals like Ganesh himself, and a lot of other very interesting people. And I'm so happy to have come to where I have come now. So thank you so much, Ganesh, for having me on your show. It's such a pleasure.
The pleasure is mine, Ashwin, and I'm very happy to host you. So to start with the questions I've prepared for you. So 2012, the changeover from an Infosys guy to a successful designer today, and what was the change in 2012 when your first collection about the Midnight Sky, your inspiration about the Midnight Sky, what was that 12 garments about, and how did you come up with this collection?
So the fashion show happened, I think it was in 2013, end of 2013, I think, and a friend of mine who's also an ace fashion designer, Sydney Slayton, had approached me for doing a fashion show. He had known that I do clothes, not on a very commercial standpoint. I was doing it in my free time while working in IT. So he saw some of my clothes and he thought, you know what, you have the potential. Let's try and put you in a show. I did not take him seriously. So he called me about 15 days before the show and he told me about the show. I said, no, I can't do it because there's only 15 days. I can't come up with a collection in 15 days. Okay. And he said, no, you have to do it. And he cut the call. Again, 4 days before the show, he called me again to see how my progress was going in terms of the collection. And I hadn't even started. I said, Sydney, I didn't even start it. And then he went on a rampage. He just yelled at me for 2 minutes straight. And he told me that I must get it done. So basically, I came up with a 12-piece collection in 4 days. So there was not a lot of sleep, not a lot of food. It was just pure dedicated work. I'm extremely thankful to my team of tailors, which at that point was only one tailor and one embroiderer. That's all I had. And we worked day and night to create those 12 pieces. It was inspired by Midnight Sky. It had, it involved deep dark colors like midnight blue, deep green, like a deep burgundy. So which were bedazzled with the rhinestones and pearls and all of that, which represented the heavenly bodies, basically. So I came up with a 12-piece collection. It comprised of satin silk, which is one of my favorite fabrics. And so all the pieces were done in that fabric. So it was one of my first ever collections that I ever made, and it's still the closest to my heart for sure.
Okay. So there's this magic you create, because I know a lot of designers who are very good with just women outfits, or there are people who work on men collection and they have a complete idea about that and they don't get on the other platform. But when I see your work, I see a magic, both looks, and then when it comes to men's outfit, I see a stereotype breaking there, and I see a very different collection, because I know I have shot 2 shoots of yours. And I was always like, how could somebody think like this? This looks so nice. And I loved that moment. I loved shooting with those people. So how do you create the magic between both? What is the code?
I think for me, the what helps me is I don't think of it as menswear and women's wear. I think of it as them as concepts. So when I approach them as concepts, I just use the concept to design an outfit. Whether it's men's or women's wear, I decide at the end after I've decided the concept. So that's why I feel like my menswear sort of like has a unique touch to it, because I don't essentially think in terms of, oh my god, I'm going to do menswear and these are the rules that I follow. I don't follow any rules. I do what I feel will look good. So and at the end of the day, that shows and that translates into the garment, I think. So I think that's why I feel like my menswear also stands out a lot. So that's one of the reasons. I don't think of it as menswear or women's wear. I just think of them as concepts, and that helps me reel in a lot of creativity, as opposed to keeping like a separate demarcation as to whether it's menswear or women's wear.
I think that is the code you have. Working on a single line, not thinking about for who this garment is made, just about the concept. I think that is the code. So yeah, true. Nice, Ashwin. So apart from this, the creative freedom you have in your industry, when it comes to fashion, I think in photography, whether it comes to wedding, whether it comes to kid shoot or anything, on portraits there is one limit, but fashion has a great opening, and I see very few people playing upon those openings, right? And you are one among that. So what is that freedom you think, creative freedom we get as an artist?
So, like you said, just like photography, where in terms of in weddings and kid shoot, you have a lot of limitations. I have those limitations when I cater to brides and grooms. I can't play around as freely as I would, if it was not for a particular client. So when I cater to a particular customer, then I can't, I have to rein on my creativity a little bit and make sure it fits the mold of the customer. But when it comes to a fashion show, then I let loose. I do not think about what the market will accept. I do not think about what somebody else will say. I create what is in my head. I make sure what I design is true to my aesthetics, and I do not compromise on the output whatsoever, on the design whatsoever. If it must have a plunging neckline, it must have a plunging neckline. If it has to be transparent, it has to be transparent. So even my last show, a lot of the pieces, I think, especially my last show, which was a monochrome theme, which is all black and white garments. I made like about 15 pieces, a collection of 15 pieces. I don't think anybody in Chennai or anybody in India will wear it, because a lot of them were sheer, a lot of them had plunging necklines and high slits. For me, it's not about what the market would want. It's about what I want to create. It's my story to tell. A fashion show is where I can voice out my creative thought process, and I do that 110%, and I make sure I do that. So as far as creativity is concerned, I think I will have to rein on it a little bit, as in control it a little bit when it comes to customers, as opposed to for fashion shoots or shows where I just let it go and let it all hang out, basically, like have fun with it, basically.
I know about the creative freedom, Ashwin, because every time I've worked with you, I've got that freedom all the time. Because any artist it could be a makeup artist, it could be a designer, it could be a photographer, but the creative space is what I think which makes a better image or a better output, a visual treat, right? And this is something I've got from you, and I was very happy working with you. Every time I work with you, I think that is the one reason I think we are coming up with some very interesting images out. And that's one thing to share about the creative freedom you gave me. But apart from this, even on the shoots, most of the time when I ask you, if you have an idea, you want to do something, or if you like it or not, you always give it to me. And for me, when the moment somebody passes it to me, I feel more responsible, because it is very easy to convince others, right? It's quite easy to convince others being in the industry and being mastering whatever we know, but it's very difficult to convince ourselves. I feel very difficult, because I know every time we shoot, right, I look in different locations. I'm not convinced with the location. I go to another one because I don't feel convinced, and I think that creative freedom, so I'm very thankful for
Exactly. So for me, like when clients come to me, right, when they tell me, you know what, I trust you, do what you're good at. So it makes me feel that I go all out and put that extra effort, and I try and do my best. So when I expect that from clients, I can only, especially when it's another creative person like you, for instance, I trust your judgment, I trust your skill, I trust your talent. So when there is so much trust and faith, I don't have to second guess my my thoughts and all of that. So when I give you the control, I honestly believe that you will do your best, and there is no way that the output will not come out nice. When you do your best and I do my best, I'm pretty sure the output will be great, and that's what's been happening, especially with our photo shoots, I think.
100%. And I think sometimes unplanned shoots have come out really well, where we ourselves didn't think of something like that.
Exactly, especially the one with Jane in that, in the jacket and that skirt. Oh my God, the pictures, they are so good. It was so last minute. The pictures came out really, really well.
I know we should thank Jane also for it, because it was like she came in like 30 minutes and the shoot got over in like 20-30 minutes, and that's all, that is how it was.
Yeah, it was so last minute, but the pictures came out brilliant.
Yes. Thank you, Ashwin. So tell me about your red carpet moment. I know with Shami Khan, where how your red carpet moment was and how you felt at that moment.
Okay, so I don't know if it was meant to be or if it was by chance, but it honestly felt surreal because so when a friend of mine, Sagarika, introduced her cousin Venk Modur, who's basically a stylist in US. So he came down to my store just to check my store out, see my work and all of that. So he came to my store and he was taken aback. He was like, I did not know somebody like this exists in Chennai. And he was hell-bent on, so he, as a stylist, what he wanted to do, what his purpose he thought was to represent South Asian designers in the US, in Hollywood. And so that's exactly what he wanted to do with me as well. He wanted to take me to Hollywood, basically my work to Hollywood. And when he said that, you were all surprised, you're happy and all of that, but you still think like, oh my God, is this really going to happen? But so a few days before the Oscar, I think like about 15 to 20 days before the Oscars, he sent me a message saying like, you know what, I have this client who I'm styling for Oscars. Do you want to do the outfit? I was like, are you really serious? Are you kidding me? Because I couldn't believe it, because every designer, when they start out, they will have a hope of someday someone big wearing it to some big event.
Yes.
But little did I know it will be the red carpet of the Oscars. So I was completely elated, and so I had only very little time to work on the outfit. But working on the outfit was not my problem. Getting it there on time was a problem. So I finished the outfit on time. I somehow managed to get it to the US. But getting it from San Francisco to LA was a big was the worst journey I had in that entire process. I literally sent the outfit by Uber from San Francisco to LA.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, but it arrived. Luckily, it arrived in time for fitting, and and the outfit was and it fit him great. And on the morning of the Oscars, Venk Modur sent me the pictures, and Sami Khan was giving interviews to magazines and new tabloids and news channels, and mentioning my name, saying that I'm wearing a designer from Indian designer Ashwin Tyagarajan. That moment was just surreal for me. I still pinch myself a little to make sure that was real. So yeah, it was one of the greatest moments in my career for sure.
I was so happy to see your outfit there, Ashwin, because one, as an artist, getting opportunities like this to showcase our work, showcase our talent, I think you got the right opportunity and you used it in a very right way, and I was very happy for it. So Ashwin Tyagarajan, in the next 20 years, where would we see Ashwin Tyagarajan in the next 20 years?
Answer only like next 5 years, because I don't for me the next step, I know what the next step is. My next step is expansion, and I'm looking at creating a new store in a different location other than Chennai, other than Tamil Nadu. I don't know whether it's Hyderabad or whether it's the US. I don't know yet. I'm still working on that. That is definitely my next step. In 20 years, I don't know. I mean, a lot could happen, and I'm someone who lives life by the day. But this is my next step, and I know I'm definitely headed there. So that's as far as I know, Ganesh. 20 years, I'm not too sure.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I am also a person who plans that too for at least a year, because I think setting up missions will work than the vision, because there should be some step where we know, okay, next 5 years we have done this, and then there's a focus. We go to the next step, and I think it's a beautiful idea.
Like it's worked like that well for me, because even I didn't plan to start a store like say 5 years ago. I did not plan to start a store at all. For me, I just kept going from one step to the next step without really deciding what the destination, what 10 steps ahead is going to be. So I just made sure I made the transition from one step to the next step smooth and easy and organic, and it's worked out well for me, and I trust in that concept.
So Ashwin, I'm just very eager to know what inspires you. What are the type of inspirations you have, and is it just one inspiration, or you have multiple inspirations in different domains, and how is your inspirations like?
There is no one inspiration for sure. I could get inspired from anything. Literally, a wall could inspire me. So there is definitely no one inspiration, and it's also a lot of genres, not just Indian, not just Western wear, not just I want to do underwear, I want to do lingerie, I want to do resort wear. So all of that, definitely my inspiration is like has multi-phase. It's not one thing or one genre for sure. It has many wings to it, I would say.
Beautiful. So more wings to fly. Yes. So and okay. On a personal question, so
Yes.
your sister and you, I don't know. I've met Anu before, and but we've never had a great conversation. But your stories and the videos both of you put in and all that, I see a lot of love. I know a lot of brother sister, and I am a person who's born alone. So okay, it's like that, and I sometimes feel jealous about it, because the way you guys play and the way you prank each other, and it's a lot of love, and that is something I wanted you to share about.
So yeah, like we've grown up together, and we've grown up extremely close, and there is nothing about her that I don't know. There's nothing about me that she doesn't know. She knows the darkest, deepest secret of mine, and I know hers. And we have mutual respect for each other. Of course, we fight a lot as well. Not a lot, but we do fight. We do argue a lot, and but eventually it all boils down to the fact that we love each other immensely. In fact, I have her name tattooed on me. That's my first tattoo, and it had to be her name. We're partners in crime. We laugh a lot together. We travel together. We do everything together. We're like best friends. We just click, and she gets me without having to use words, and I get her without having to use words. So that's a beautiful chemistry that we have, that is very difficult to find between siblings, I think.
Nice.
Yeah.
I always see that love flowing among both of you, and it's always beautiful. And Ashwin, apart from this, who is the real Ashwin? Like the Ashwin you see in the mirror?
I'm just a guy who wants to have a good time. That's all. I want to be happy, and I do everything in my power to be happy on an everyday basis. I am willing to work on myself. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to live a happy, peaceful life. And I want to travel. I want to laugh a lot. I want to have a lot of mad fun. Yeah, that's basically me.
One of your mad moments, if you share.
Oh my God, there's literally so many. I'm a big time prankster. I play pranks on all my friends, my sister, my family. I'm a huge prankster. I think that's one of the maddest aspects of me, that if you are a friend of mine, you will eventually have to put up with that. And and if I'm really close with you and comfortable with you, I'll roast the life out of you. My close friends know that. It's constantly the way I bond with them is by roasting them. And I'm more than happy if they roast me back. But yeah, that's something that I really have fun with. Other than mad things that I have done, what can I say? I gave a lap dance to a complete strange woman in a bar. That's the maddest thing that I've ever done. Yeah.
I wouldn't do that, Ashwin. For sure, I wouldn't have the guts to do it at all. But on another note, Ashwin, there's this video I saw where Anu was interviewing you, and you had a little talk about being gay. And I love the way you had a statement there of telling it out and that coming out moment, because I think this is something where people should learn where how to come out of this. And on the family side also, I see a very supportive family which is completely supporting you by your side. And that I felt very proud when you said that very openly, that yes, I'm a gay, and it's a normal thing. And the way you project, not just with this, with your outfits, like before we spoke, I see a very nice and clear statement of life, I think, from you. And that is one reason I wanted you in the podcast, because lifestyle wise, I would follow an artist, not just an artist, but also personally, if somebody is like that. And it isn't for the fake world, right? It's just who we are.
Yeah, so so it's been quite a journey, just as or even more satisfying than passion. I think my personal journey has been through this. So coming out as gay to my family and to the entire society as such has been it was a struggle. I wouldn't deny, but once it was all well received, and once everything after the hard part, it is completely satisfying. And because I have a family who's literally my backbone, they accept me for who I am now. They are completely supportive, and they encourage me and my choices, and they treat my partner with respect and with love and with admiration. All of my partners have been treated and accepted really well by my parents and my family. So it is really, really, gratifying, and it's a very satisfying experience for me to experience all of this. Um, yeah, so I would say that. And my family has been tremendously supportive. I did not expect this from my mom or my dad. When I came out to them, I was not really sure what direction it will go in. And initially it went in a direction which was not so pleasant, because my parents were from a very modest background, a very conservative background, to the point that they did not even know of the existence of the community, the entire community of lesbian, gay, transgender, the entire community. They had no idea. So they knew it through me, and they got to learn a lot, and they evolved as much as I have evolved. My parents have evolved, and in accepting the truth, and getting used to it. So yeah, I'm extremely blessed with an understanding and supportive family.
I think we should give a hats off to them, because even in the interview when I saw, I wouldn't think of my mother or father even understanding. It's in that situation, because people way back, they don't even know what is it, and what existed and what never existed. Okay. And this stage when I saw that, no, I think it's you, your sister. I think for you, everything is your family. Somewhere it connects to your family, which is actually making a safe place, because today people out there who are not able to come out from their blogs are facing this problem. And I think it's a beautiful family which is bringing up a blessed child, right? So Ashwin,
It all boils down to one thing, Ganesh. It all boils down to love and happiness. So my parents, even to this day, I don't think my dad completely understands, who gay people are, or so where they come from. He doesn't completely understand. But for him, for the way he understands it, is that okay, this is what makes my son happy, so I'm just going to let him be. That's all there is. He may think it's a defect, he may think it's not okay, but at the end of the day, he knows that this is what makes me happy, and he's 100% on my side, saying, you know what, do what makes you happy. And that's what matters the most. If parents understand that, if they understand that at the end of the day, your kid should be live a happy life, and that is more important than what the society is going to say about him, or what what the future is going to be like. At the end of the day, as long as your son or daughter is happy, that's all that matters. And if every parent realizes and understands that, there won't be any trouble. And I think my parents understood that way early, and I had the least difficulty possible. But so that's one main thing to take away from this, is that what at the end of it all, love is what that matters. Love and happiness.
true, Ashwin. I think if love wasn't there, and I don't think the world would be in the shape it is right now. It's true that love and happiness is one thing, which is all that we needed, right?
Exactly.
So Ashwin, apart from this, your next collection, we are talking about the next cotton line collection you were
Yes.
supposed to launch. So how is your
Yes,
cotton?
when are we shooting it?
Huh?
When are we shooting it?
We have to shoot it soon. Yeah, I know. I think once 31st is over, we will be quite free to roam around and start shooting, and we will for sure do something like that for sure, Ashwin.
Yes.
Nice. It is a beautiful story, Ashwin. It is a beautiful story because the moment I saw, I know you for 5 years and I've never seen this video. I think it's a fault. I just saw it now. A lot of people have to know who you are and the voice you have, right? I think you're very clear with your voice and your statement, because even when I asked you about the 20 years, you were very clear that I'm just working for 5 years. And I think that clear statement of you is what is making you, and with your beautiful family support, I think. So, Ashwin, one superpower, okay, that is you can ask me one question.
To ask you one question.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. Okay. What do I want to ask you? Okay. So this, so you've been in Chennai a lot, and you worked with a lot of designers, a lot of models, and a lot of, makeup artists and whatnot.
Yes.
What do you think lacks here in Chennai fashion scene? And if you could do something to make it better, what would make it better according to you?
Okay, I never thought there would be a question like this. Good that you asked a very difficult question. But yes, I worked with a lot of people. Initially I wanted to change. So when I started fashion photography, I didn't just want to do more of lifestyle shoots. Because now I see a lot of lifestyle shoots, which is named as fashion photography. And that's how it all goes. And when I started, I wanted to do something different. So when I studied fashion was way beyond. I was seeing brands like Gucci, I was seeing brands like Dior, and that's how I grew up, and I always wanted to set into a standard to work with. So now though, most of their hobbies, people's hobbies have changed into everybody wanted to be an artist. I'm very happy about it. But if it's a random switch, if it's just a switch because COVID came in, 3 months of COVID, so I want to become a designer, or if it's going to be, I have a camera, so I'm going to just do photography, that is not the way it runs, right? So I think this change in the industry has a problem, because I see sometimes I have designers coming to me without a vision. Okay, I don't know, when they don't have a vision, I will not be able to visualize their brand, because the moment I work with the brand, I make sure I visualize for them. And if they don't have a vision, I don't think there's a point in working with anybody of that sort. And that is one big problem we are facing, where there is random people, random starters here and there. But on another scale, if you look at a solution for this, I would say agencies coming up to Chennai, because from models to photographers to makeup artists, I want everybody to be categorized, and the work will also keep flowing for us, because I think even in Chennai now, brands wanted models from Bangalore or Mumbai, because they feel the whole thing is channeled and they have an agency to talk to, and Chennai has not got something like that. So I think futuristically, agencies coming up and monitoring this industry in Chennai will help Chennai grow in this industry. And if I had a chance, I would do that. That is
absolutely.
One should come. So
I think that's very well said. I completely agree with you on that. Like, anybody can become a choreographer, anybody can become a stylist. Of course anybody can, but there is a proper medium. There has to be a proper channeling, and I feel like the intentions have to be right. In order to come out the way one must, or one wants to come out. I think there has to be a proper channelizing. You have to channelize, and I completely agree with you. Whatever you said was absolutely on point.
I feel missing is like whoever it is, whatever domain they choose, it can be photography, it can be a designer, a stylist, a makeup artist, or whoever. If they are going to start it because they love it, or if they start it because they have fallen in love with, because I, being a marketing guy, I fell into photography, but this is where I am. I've been more focused. And if I'm able to do justice to whatever I started, I think starting anything is never wrong. But at the same time, if you're going to start something like this just for money, I know a lot of people jumped into wedding photography just because weddings are paying better. I wouldn't do that at all, because photography is just not about money, or any type of art is just not about money. It is about you feeling content about what you do. And to be that, I think a little channelizing is needed. And thank you, Ashwin, for being there in Mojo with GT. And I'm very happy, and it's a great pleasure to host you today. And whatever insights and whatever you shared, I think it is going to make sense to a lot of people who are going to listen. And this conversation, as I said, I don't think we've had conversation like this before, but I think this conversation would mean more than anything. And
Thank you so much, Ganesh, for having me. I think it's the first time we've actually like had a full-blown conversation besides work, so which I thoroughly enjoyed. Maybe we should do this more often, like off mic or off camera also.
for sure, Ashwin, let's catch up for more Mojo's real time. And yes, thank you for being so nice.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here, Ashwin. That was Ashwin Tyagarajan for you in Mojo with GT, and we are going to be having more Mojos. If you want to know what Mojo is, Mojo is about magic, and let's have some magical experience. I wish today's magical experience was amazing and a real life story from Ashwin. And thank you, Ashwin, for sharing us your story. And this is going to be more meaningful to a lot of people here who's listening. And this is Mojo with GT. Please share, subscribe, and do follow and motivate me. And signing off, Ganesh Toasty here.